Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Smart Poker's YouTube channel and another episode of Sundazed and Confused. We're at number 55, and it's going to be an exciting one. But before we go any further, I'd like to introduce my wife.
Hi, everybody. I'm Crispy Wannabe, and it is going to be a really exciting show because we have Mr. and Mrs. Z06 supervette going to do a garden tour with us, and that's exciting. We've been following along their new grow space, and it just blows my mind, and now it can blow yours too.
So yes, cheers, Mr. and Mrs. Z06 supervette. Welcome to the show. You'd like to tell everybody hi?
Hey, everybody. How's the chat doing?
Hey, guys.
It's nice. I remember the last time we had them on, it was a whole different setup.
Yeah.
And they changed some stuff, and we're excited to figure out, look at those plants. We're excited to see here. Now, let me go check. I got to get my other stuff. You'll have to bear with me, supervette. I think you already know how we do on the show. Sometimes
we like to wing it, it's real life, and just
I got to get to
we go with the flow. You got some beautiful plants in there. You want to tell us what genetics you got going on there?
All right. We got our new setup is a waterfall system. It's a 6-plant system. And everything is automated. So I'll try to do a slow tour and stop me at any time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Let's see if let me get a double check here and make sure that I have you. Only you are on the screen.
And everything goes, it drains back.
Whoops.
So that's underneath.
Hey, I think we're froze, man. I'm not really seeing. Is it just me? I think we might be froze. We might be getting the Faraday effect.
Faraday effect a little bit.
Ah, shit. We always get burnt, man, on the Faraday effect. You still with us, buddy?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. No, it seems like it might be catching up. We might have to start from like outside the tent or out. I don't know. I guess you're in a room there.
Yeah, it's a room.
Shit. We might have to stay.
Is this better?
That is, we're actually hearing you and seeing some movement now. Your screen was kind of froze. It looks like it's catching up now on YouTube. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. There we go. All right. We got a waterfall system, 6-site system. So everything is waterfall. Water just pours into the top and comes back through those drain pipes back to this reservoir right here.
Nice. That's a little bit like our friend Artman has. It's like
like the ebb and flow, or
it's a little bit different, but I like that. It's like you never have any runoff or any loss, really. It's just comes back to your res.
Yeah, that it all recycles constantly, and we change the reservoir out about every 10 days or so to keep everything fresh.
Okay. I wanted to say hello to Mrs. Supervette. I know she's with us, and I think she said she might have some previous engagements she might have to get to. So I wanted to make sure we got to say hi before she has to sneak off. I'm not sure when that'll be.
Hey, guys.
Now you said every 10 days, right?
Yep. Every 10 days we do a reservoir change.
Boy, that seems like very, not, it doesn't seem,
hands off.
Yeah, like hands off. That just like every 10 days, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's cool, and I'll get to it in just a minute, is how we do it. We can do everything inside the room. Nothing has to go outside of the room ever, which is really cool.
That is nice. It's all self-contained.
And then we got.
Go ahead.
Yep.
I'm looking at your wall there. I've got so many questions.
And this is like I don't know, like some dream setup. Like I'm really like my mouth is watering over your setup. It's awesome.
I dreamed all this up and put it all together slowly, one thing at a time.
Well, your hard work is paying off in spades with those beautiful plants you got going there.
So what's that box?
You.
What's that gray box there? Is that where we were headed to next?
Yeah, what I got here is my pH adjuster. and I swapped that up between up and down and things like that. And then up here is all my controls.
Wow.
And this tells me everything. So we monitor the pH, the water temperature, the EC. Over here we have CO2. So CO2 is constantly monitored as it's infused into the atmosphere constantly, so we can monitor that. AC Infinity fans. So we got 2 fans in here. Both of those have carbon filters, so we don't smell anything in here. It keeps all that down. And then we use an autopilot for our lighting control, and that controls 2 HLG 600R specs. And then we got 2 chill LEDs on the sides for supplements.
Nice. Very, very nice.
No, I really dig those chilled LED bars.
Now I'm curious. I guess I can start right there with a question, if you don't mind. What kind of control does that panel give you? Does it have like a sunrise, sunset capability? Does it control like,
yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, we use the sunrise, sunset, and then I even went a step further. I actually cut the 600 HLGs off about 15 minutes earlier, and then we leave the chill LEDs on, and they complete the sunset. And then they also too run what's called our far red lights. You can see in the top there, and that kind of helps put the plants to sleep at nighttime.
Gotcha. You are set up, man. I'm very envious of, that room runs itself.
Yeah, we're jelly in a good way, in a loving style way. Like
we appreciate it. Now over here we have a water chiller and our CO2 down here at the bottom.
Ah, yeah, I see it.
Ooh.
And that runs all back to my reservoir. And then of course the CO2 line runs up in between the lights and pours down over the plants.
Nice.
Then we have our own air conditioner back here, and that keeps our perfect climate back here. And then, of course, on this side over here, we have our own humidifier that does everything separately, because we notice at nighttime the humidity loves to creep up at night. So this and you can't see it, but there's actually a condensate pump in between the air conditioner and the humidifier. And this clear line that's right here I'm pointing at, that pumps water. And we actually have a drain back here in the room itself, so we can drain water inside the room. And I also have water coming inside the room, and that's all filtered and goes through a RO system. So we have a complete RO system in the room too. So all of our water is perfectly clean, and we just add everything else from there.
Wow. That's all I can say is, wow, man, you got everything thought of.
And you know what? I really like that you use the white on the walls. I've heard that that's more reflective
Than a lot of other things.
than even better than the Mylar.
Depending on which Mylar it is.
Yeah,
but it's right there with it.
But
you know what?
Yeah, I like that. It makes it look so nice and clean in there.
Thank you. Thank you.
A lot of bounce back too on your light. You're getting all your lighting back.
And those plants look like they are loving everything that you're doing. Like,
yeah, I think they're pretty happy so far. And like I said, we're in our 2nd week of flowering, so we can't wait to see what they do. They've really been stretching.
Yeah, that's just gonna be. I'm excited to see too. Following along, I hope that you continue to share those pictures with us, Mont and I. We are really grateful. Yeah, we're lucky. We get the behind the scenes look at how this all came about and what's going on. And we really greatly appreciate that.
So I still got a couple questions.
Absolutely.
What nutrients are you running?
All right, we run the new Millennium nutrients, and I believe they're based out of Colorado, and they do some really awesome stuff. Let's see if I can get.
I've heard of the new Millenniums, and I got to be honest, I think I heard they're one of the more expensive brands.
Yeah, they came through our buddy's store, and he did a run with his, and he was like, "You've got to try this." And it's definitely a little bit pricey, but we're really loving the results so far.
Hey man, when it comes to the end of the grow and you do your results versus cost per gram or per ounce or however you do it, as long as it still makes great sense, I don't see any problem in using what makes you feel comfortable. And look how great they're responding. You're right.
Absolutely. And I'm real big too on telling, like, I tell people, spend as much money as you can on your equipment of what you can afford, because with all the lights and everything that we're running in here, everything at full wattage, amperage and everything, we're still running under 10 amps.
Okay.
So we have very little amp draw as far as what we have and everything.
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So efficiency and stuff like that is super important.
Yeah, I can tell. And it's nice to have because there's like different metrics for that. Like your, what was it, babe? Kilowatt grams per hour or some shit like that. And so when you add all that up, and it's nice because then I don't know, I always feel safer when there's less draw. I feel like there's less chances for fires and less chances to like kick a brake or you know, just interfere with your rest of your house and shit. So and
Exactly.
Plus, like, I just want to throw it out there. It is important. It is important for our environment that
Yeah.
we keep it all low and take as little as we possibly can to get the results that we want, because, you know, this is our planet. We need to take care of it.
Agreed.
Exactly. So yeah, we try to leave as little footprint as possible, but also, you know, the maximum benefit of what we're doing, of course, at the same time.
Exactly. I think
Yep.
that's a lot of times what I know my wife and I strive for is like, you know, how low can we get our PPFD without suffering, you know, loss? And we always try to walk that line or maybe just stay on the other side of it and not just overly dump a bunch of light on them that they don't need. But at the same time, I'm not going to be a cheap ass and not light them correctly, you know? So I think getting our par meter and shit has helped us a lot in that area.
Yeah, it has been, it's been a great tool.
And we try different things to, you know, maximize our efficiency. And, you know, one of them is just to get your plants up and going quick. That way, you know, shorter veg time, flip them and get going. And when we run into problems, it always hits me right in the gut because I'm thinking, here we are, you know, this extends it cuts out some of your good quality growing season time because now you have the veg longer. You're going to pay more grams, more per gram and that whole deal. So yeah, I'm with the whole efficiency thing. I love that. That's one of the reasons we liked our chilled light. We had a chilled It was a 330 watt light we ran in our tent, and it was one of the best lights I ever had.
It was really literally my favorite light.
And it was,
in my opinion, of all the lights we've had, it was my favorite. It just did.
Yeah, the chilled light was pretty good light. A lot of red in it, but
yeah. And plus, like, who doesn't like to be growing and smoking some really killer fireweed that is really cost like just dollars
per ounce? Yeah,
you know that you're really, you know, doing so awesome that you got that price down. And I feel bad
without sacrificing.
Sacrificing, exactly. And you're not paying what people are paying at the dispensaries, of course, and on the streets.
Or even close, yeah. And I know what you mean.
It saved us.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, it saved us so much money. And another tool that you mentioned too was the par meter. Miss Supervette was nice enough to get me one of those. And that has saved us so much time and money because we can dial everything in and we're saving a ton of energy just by using that.
Exactly. Yeah, you got a good wife there. That's an awesome gift. And you're right. It just takes a lot of the guesswork because, you know, you can't tell by turning on the light. It could be running at 25%. It looks like it's getting enough light, fine, by the naked eye. You just don't know. You throw that meter on there and they're highly durable. Like they got, you know.
If you overlight your plants, it's going to take a little while before you see it too. So from the time you start overlighting them until the time you're thinking, well, I'm definitely sure that they're overlit, you pretty much lost a lot of photosynthetic capability time to like phototoxicity, or is it photo inhibition? One of those. And that kind of sucks too. But I think the main reason I would say a lot of growers really don't need that. One reason we got one is because we're constantly getting new lights to try out. And by the time you would go through that whole minutia of watching your plants for a grow or two and getting it dialed in, because then you're going to usually keep those lights for like 10 grows, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or more or whatever.
Lifelong.
But if you're switching new lights every time, it's like you're going from 760 to 330. But there's a certain pride, Mr. and Mrs. Supervette, that came from me personally whenever we were able to put just 330 watt chilled light in a tent and pull out 900 grams with autoflowers. And we documented it over Cocoa for Cannabis. It's just like, that was one of the things that spurred me to want to be able to, you know, how low can we go with wattage and still get usable light out of it? And I see what you're doing with your controller, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Hey, the people in the chat
speak to him. I can tell, you know,
the people in the chat have questions for you if we can. They
Sure.
were asking what kind of nutrients, which you answered. It was New Millennium. And it's nice that you have a friend that hooks him up.
I know that's nice to have that friend in the business.
His wife's,
Yeah.
oh yeah. And then you have,
Everybody needs a friend.
they're asking what strains you're growing.
Okay, this is all pure breeding genetics. The back two and the furthest back there are New England rock candy. Let's see here if I can remember. The two in the middle are cherry custard, and these two on the end are blueberry cinnabon.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That
So
sounds,
we try to mix it up a little bit.
Well, it's nice to see Cal's genetics in your grow space. It's just knocking it out of the park. Beautiful. I put a link in
Thank
that for anybody that want to go hook up with some seeds
from Kyle.
from Kyle and get some of those strains.
And a big shout out to the PA hydroponics, because that's actually where the waterfall system came from, and I highly recommend it. They got some really good stuff.
I've heard of that place. They're a big company. Yeah, and it's weird because it's illegal here in PA, and I think that's where they're called that. PA. They're
Yeah,
located.
I had to laugh about that when I ordered the system. I was like, it's actually coming from somewhere where it's illegal.
Yeah. How we look over here having
No.
how we gonna look over here having the biggest store around, and we can't even go and buy the shit and use it here, not for what we want to use it for anyhow. Nobody's grown.
Hey, you know what? We do have the medical program here in Pennsylvania. As shady as it is, at least it's something. You know, there are people that can get medicine if they're not willing to risk their freedom.
One of the
There's got to
questions,
be a start somewhere.
yeah, you're right. One of the questions is how much is that light controller? Is that something you're comfortable sharing?
Let's see, that light controller, I can't remember exactly. I think it was a few $100s.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like a pretty standard. I like those things. And I've seen a couple different kinds. Like I know Photon Tech sells one, but I never know how involved one gets versus the next one, you know? So I never can really recommend one. So it's nice to see one on there in action.
Well,
When
it's
I opened up the box, I was a little nervous for sure.
Yeah.
well, I wanted to point out it's easy to see with what's going on inside of your tent that you're going to have a return on investment pretty quickly for all of the
Yes.
gadgets and price that goes into those things. Because sometimes it's not cheap, but you save your pennies and you get what you want out of your grow room or out of whatever your grow space. And that some of those return real quickly. You're saving all kind of time, and you know what? Time is money. Time is our precious commodity, our most precious. So
Yeah.
I like the fully automated setup like you got going on there for that reason.
Thank you.
What else do they got
Yeah,
here?
we're having a good time with it.
Well, you can tell, man, you're playing some just.
They want to know, does the winter frost really work as advertised? The winter frost, is that part of the nutrient lineup, I suppose?
Yeah, that's still New Millennium Winter Frost, and I did use that on in my 3x3. Had a little bit of a humidity issue at night with that setup or whatever, but using the Winter Frost and everything, we did notice a difference on the final product for sure.
There you go. See, person.
I will say, with New Millennium nutrients, you really have to follow it to a T to make it work correctly. You don't want to overdo it or underdo it. You got to really, pay attention to what you're doing.
Okay.
But if you can follow it perfectly with the water that you're using, the results are pretty incredible.
And that's a good point you make, because a lot of people will go like half or a quarter what they recommend on the bottle because of whatever reason. We all know how that goes. But this is one where it actually stood out to you where like, damn, they actually did do it right as you should. And so that's a good point to make. So in case somebody wants to try those out.
Yeah, it's nice to have that type of information.
Yeah, and if you go online and look up New Millennium Nutrient Calculator, they actually give you a calculator where you just plug in your water and it gives you your whole schedule. It prints it out for you perfectly. So it really makes it easy. The guys over there did a really good job.
Awesome.
That is awesome to hear.
Let's see.
It's nice to hear that feedback from just certain, product lines, because there's so many out there, and, like, buyer beware on some of them and how they work out. It's good to get that positive feedback that, hey, here's a company actually doing what they claim to do, not trying to feed you a bunch of fluff.
I'm back to my next question. I got a couple questions yet. Like, how are you training your plants there? Have you topped them once, twice, mainline, manifold?
I've only topped them once, and then it's just been lollipopping from there. And then I've been using like some tie downs. I've tied actually some branches to other branches of plants. Lots of training. We use these clips. These clips right here, I use to bend a lot of branches and stuff like that. And basically, it's just trying to get them as bushy as possible, but kind of keep the canopy somewhat level across, the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
It worked perfect.
Yeah, because you have a really nice even canopy, and I like those clips. Although you can only, like, I find that with clips like that, you can only have them on until they get a certain size. Because, last night I was taking mine off and I let them go a little. We let them go a little too much.
Yeah, you can take the blame for it. Go ahead.
I let them go a little and like I was scared taking them off because I'm like, this thing is gonna snap for this. I was trying to like bend the plastic, and do you find those like slip off like easily, or to take them on and off, those clips you're using?
I've been working in here and had the branches get so big where they pop the clips off, and I find the clips in the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happened to us. Broken clips everywhere. Now I want to I couldn't see yours. Were they adjustable? Are they the adjustable ones?
No, I just got some that are like, that'll put a little bit more bend than others. Like, let's see here.
I got you.
This front one here.
Brother. I've had some that were too severe and some that weren't severe enough,
Okay. Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, okay, that's good. Then that's not enough. And then every once in a while you break a branch, you're like, oh crap. And
start it with an easy bend, then get kind of severe over here and go back. And I kind of like those ones that look adjustable. But yeah, it looks like your canopy is nice, and you're getting good distribution on all your biomass for sure, based on your training there. I think anybody, even our friend Jeezy, would be happy with that training.
Oh yeah, you're doing an absolutely stunning. Your plants are stunning.
Absolutely. And I know our friend Weed Nerd DWC, he grew those same genetics amongst other people that we know, and they've always seen, I think, Seed Person's on as well. Yeah, he's on right now. And so every time someone that we know who is
killing it
like
in a good way, and awesome, like doing so good by the genetics.
Yeah, with Kyle's stuff, and it's nice to see that. But I've been hearing good reviews on the smoke as well, so it's vigorous and the whole 9 yards. And I'm thinking we have some of that New England rock candy, and the more I see, the more I want to get it out.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's going to come up probably. Well, we got the spring autoflower challenge after this New Year's Grow challenge.
So it'll be months yet.
Yeah.
But that's all right. Still excited.
Coming up then in the next photo round. So.
All right. What else did I want to ask in here? I know I had some more questions. It was the nutrients, the training. Damn it was right on the tip of my tongue. Okay. I know what it was. I'd like to ask, what are your target goals for your CO2 parts per million? And what light densities do you run in conjunction with those numbers? If that's a fair question, because we might have to, I don't want to send you on like looking for information or anything.
But if you
yeah, you're good. I'll try to answer this best I can. Believe it or not, I'm an amateur at this.
No, you're not. Look at that.
You don't look like an amateur at all, for sure.
Oh shit.
Well, what I try to run usually in like late veg, early part of flower, I'll usually run about 1,000 or 1,100 ppm on the CO2. As far as the light density goes, I think I was right at around 1,000 to 1,100 on my light intensity,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And then what I'll do as we get probably into week 3 of flower, week 4 of flower, I'll bump the CO2 up and start running it closer to that 1,500 mark.
Okay.
And I'll probably run the lights about the same.
Okay. Yeah, that's about the upper threshold from what I understand scientifically that's been explained to me. Now, it should be noted, I've never grown with CO2 and never grew with any densities over 1,000, at least not on purpose anyhow, you know what I mean?
Right.
So this is awesome to be able to get that information right now and kind of watch it go through, because you know, that's what collaboration's about, Mr. and Mrs. Z06, is to be able to, we grow vicariously through you guys and get to see it firsthand. You know, it's like I'm right there in your room with you, and it's going to be so cool to see the ppms of your CO2 and the densities going hand in hand. And I'm curious, do you ramp that up in stages, like maybe 100 ppms at a time, or you just go boom, full throttle from where you're at now to the 1,500?
I like to ramp it up in stages a little bit on ppm at a time usually, and that's like I said, just kind of help it get there so it's not quite a shock so much.
Okay. Boy, this really brings up questions. I hope you don't feel like I'm grilling you, and I'm not. So when
No, go for it.
What else changes within your environmental controls there inside your grow space whenever you do that change? Because people often ask, do I have to feed a higher salinity of nutrients? Do I have to turn my temperature up because of those two other limiting factors that we turn those up? So what else goes up and or down, if that's something you can talk to about?
Yeah, our nutrient solution will go up a little bit with it. I also adjust the dehumidifier to start going down.
Okay.
And all that good stuff. And but yeah, nutrient solution goes up. Like I said, and what I do too, I just kind of go off of numbers. I just, watching your show and listening to a lot of people and stuff. And I just make little adjustments, and then I monitor everything real closely just to see how they react, if they starting to get sunburn, or if, any type of nutrient deficiencies, or too much of, so sometimes too much of a good thing in some cases.
Nice. Well, I got to give you credit, man, because you are kind of a lot like us. I don't know if that's good or bad, but you're willing to like grow and learn at the same time, and that's not easy to do in a public spotlight. And then to share what you do know and what you've seen and things. So kudos to you for inviting us into your personal space and to be able to look and answer these questions for us. I'm not sure if Chad has some more questions here. I'll probably think of a couple more. I know that. I love seeing these grow spaces and the automation, and gives me a lot of good ideas for us down the road.
In the future, yeah.
Yeah.
When things change.
Yeah, I tell everybody, if you can dream it, go for it. And I appreciate the compliment. If we're growers like y'all, man, that's a super awesome compliment to me and Miss Supervette. So we really appreciate that, because we love what y'all do.
Oh man, it's a lot of fun doing this type of stuff with you guys. The chat's loving your they've been talking nothing but good about it, and they love your setup.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I see you got a Blue Lab pen there. I too have used the Blue Lab, and we have both now. We have the Blue Lab and the Apera 2-in-1, and we kind of check them against each other. And it seems like my Blue Lab's always reading a bit saltier.
Yeah, it's none of the meters ever truly agree with one another, but I always like to have an extra meter on hand just to double check everything, just to check what someone to check the backup, basically.
Yeah. Dude, that is so cool. You got a wonderful setup.
Thank
you. Got a great attitude, man. And you and your wife have
a green thumb for sure.
Yeah, you guys really have have it going on over there. And it's nice to see all that stuff coming together, used correctly, you know, because a lot of times I hear, like I said, I never use CO2, but your numbers seem to be right on point with what a lot of people that I respect that do use it. And I see their results, and you're right there with them. And that's all we ever do. A lot of times, Z06, we'll watch somebody for a year do the same thing straight, and then I feel comfortable parroting to someone else like, hey, my friend Z06 is running this ppm and this density, and it's documented. You can check it out. That's collaboration, brother, and it's unparalleled. So
That's awesome.
yeah, this first half hour is going by so quick. Been a lot of fun. I want to do a couple shout outs. I want to give you guys a chance to ask us any questions or ask the chat or elaborate on anything else that you might want to. And then in a little bit here, we can throw the link up for anybody in the chat that might want to join. They might want to ask you a question themselves, or maybe just compliment you in person. So how's that sound? We'll roll another blunt.
Yeah, that sounds great. Speaking of chatters, I do want to shout out Collective Mary Jane, Art Man, Weed Nerd, DWC, Seed Person 1. It's awesome to have you guys all here. Hi, Desert Scott. How you doing? Rowdy, Anova, Silent Type Garden, W Digger. How are you doing out there? If I missed anybody, Kate Armstrong, the LED Grower, Benny Ben, Jack Beanstalk. You guys are awesome for hanging out. Ganja Ghost.
There's
You
40
always
people here.
hang out with us, and if I missed you, I have you here in my heart and in my thoughts. Like, this is awesome to be hanging out with you and having Mr. and Mrs. Supervette on our show. This is like such an awesome Sunday.
Those plants are bussing.
They sure freaking are, and it's just awesome. I get a good vibe off your plants too.
Yeah, man. I love this shit. This is a ton of fun.
Yeah, putting that positive vibe out.
He was all the way. Can I ask you to go back over there again? Like, I love that top view from the side there a little bit. You had some nice big. How long are you into flower now?
We are just at a little over 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, man. Those are some big old fan leaves. They want to know if you're doing anything for IPM, what your measurements are, I guess, outside of, keeping your environment safe. For what else might you do?
I just got the room sealed off with everything as much as I can, because like I said, we want to control like its own environment in this room and all that good stuff. So it's just keeping everything on the outside out. So everything in this room is completely sealed off.
And that's good. And I'm sure you don't like take the dogs outside, roll around in the yard, and then come running in to check on your plants with the same clothes, shoes, etc. on, because that's a lot of us. A lot of what we do is we're very conscientious about what we're wearing and where we just came from, or, all that kind of stuff. And I think it's really helped us a lot. As much as we could, I'm probably a little anal about it, but
we do have the cat, which is, a lot of people will give us some blowback about that, but she does have a collar on. So, and I've never seen a bug on her. Now I know that a spider could go like blow on her and stuff. That could happen, but knock on wood. Sometimes I just knock on my own skull. It hasn't happened yet. So
there's another great question in the chat for you. And this is one I had thought about before the show and totally forgot about, because I think I know the answer to. People are curious, are you prepared for the post-harvest whenever you drop all those beautiful ladies?
Yeah, we got one Canatrol right now, and we're up to contact our friends at Canatrol, and we're about to purchase 5 more Canatrol. So we're going to have 6 of them all together to handle this.
Oh, that's so freaking cool. 6 Canatrols.
that is freaking awesome.
6.
Unbelievable. So I'd say
We got them lined up too. Yeah, we already have them somewhere. When we get them in, we're going to line them up, and I have them sitting up a little bit, and all the drains run to one pipe and then drains into a condensate pump, and then that pumps into a drain. So we don't have to worry about draining 6 of them at a time.
I got you.
Yeah, because that surprised by the amount of water that comes out of those.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot more
Yeah,
than I
man.
thought
Hey,
was going to come out. But yeah, that's got to be a beautiful sight. I hope that you and your wife would share a picture with us.
yeah, you
of
know,
Absolutely.
that'll go down because
I gotta say, you guys ain't fucking around, man. That's how it is. Cause, and you know what? It's gonna make it's gonna make your it's gonna end up making your growing so much funner, as you already know, because now you ain't got to worry about your post harvest and any extra space that you got to provide for it or whatever outside of the size of 6 canotraws. And it's just clip them, snip them, store them, and go off to the next one while those ones are getting nice and juicy and ready to smoke. And
Exactly.
So I do have a question for you. The last time that you had been on the show, you were just getting into doing this. You said that your Mrs. Supervet had some experience in the DWC. So
yeah, you were just switching
you were switching it over. And do you have the bug now is what I really want to know is like, do you see yourself like just running as much as you can through there, getting as much medicine as you can?
and staying with DWC.
Yeah, when it comes to DWC, I didn't catch the bug. I caught the disease. But yeah, no, she's got me completely convinced because I just love what we can do with this. And like I said, I was a soil grower for years and years coming up, and I loved it. But like I said, there's nothing like this. And like I said, I love this. It's almost like a science experiment. And I just, the thing I keep wondering is like, okay, what are we going to improve on next? What's going to change next? How can we possibly make this even better? And somehow we always do. And that's the part that I really enjoy.
That is really awesome.
And you know what? I wouldn't be doing myself or my listeners any favors if I didn't play the devil's advocate here, because I've had people say this. How when you get so automated, and I hope you don't think I'm picking on you in public or anything, but when you get very automated, when does it no longer become like hands-on craft cannabis? Because now you really don't do much outside of a couple toppings. You just kind of sit back. And
Well,
I guess for you, you found your balance of how much you like to have, labor versus automations, because let's be honest, that's really what it is. More automation equals like less labor, and more labor can go with less automation. It's just about time and work dedicated, right?
I would say it would come down to the product, right? Because you have your proof in the pudding. And if you grow in craft cannabis, it'll be there in the flavor.
Yep.
Right. And when it comes out to me is when I got into automation, I thought about that. It's like, am I really going to be into this? Because I barely got to look at it, just check on it here and there. And the thing that I've found that even with all the automation, it frees up more time to do more stuff that I couldn't do before. So even though I'm eliminating some work for myself, I'm finding more ways to keep myself busy. And like I tell Mr. Supervet, it's like I can literally, even with all the automation here all day, and keep it a full-time job with cleaning something or trying to improve this or improve that, and going back and forth. So, I did wonder about that, but it still keeps me plenty busy.
And the whole time you're answering, me and my wife are looking at each other, nodding. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. And but people often ask that question, like, just that's part. And I guess it's like, it's all about what fits into your life, right? I often think it's nice whenever we can fit growing into our lives, in a way that it doesn't become like a burden, because that's when it has to be fun, right? So if you need more automation, because maybe on the road a lot or you work a lot or whatever the case may be, then great. And if some people really like the fact that they're
and I say I love the fully automation. I'm always going to be for the automation. Your setup is like, oh my goodness, I love it. I've been salivating this whole time. It's a dream of mine to have that kind of system where it's just,
I really appreciate it.
You don't have to, like, it does free up your time, you say. But if you wanted to be, you could be sitting with your plants, touching them,
checking for bugs, training,
whatever you wanted to be doing without having to do all the work. You're actually spending the quality time.
Yep. Exactly.
Just in a Zen spot, just filling a good filling,
Yep.
But yeah, I love what you do.
Like I said, I have to travel to pick up cars and stuff and things like that. So I have to be gone all day or 2 days at a time. And with this setup, I don't have to worry so much about it.
No. And another key factor in that, you have Mrs. Supervet. You know, that's
Yes.
invaluable there because, you know, she knows what she's doing. And so you got like two of you, which let's face it, it makes it easier when you have to go away or, you know, if someone can be there when you're.
Yes, I can 100% depend on her. And that to me is just everything. It means so much. So it's like, I tell everybody, if you have a partner that'll join in with you and help you with your grows, you don't know how lucky you are.
And I honestly believe in my heart, and they're saying it in chat as well, that I think some of the best cannabis that you'll find out there is a guy who works in construction or whatever the case may be, you know, has a day job,
Yeah.
I should say, and has a couple little tents that's semi-automated, you know,
Yeah.
and he still has his life. He's still there to eat dinner with his kids, but his plants aren't up there drying back so much that they're dying or suffering or in subpar conditions. And he's able to do the best of both worlds. And I think there's a nice happy medium to be found between having your garden and being able to have a family life and go to work and things like that, and still make craft cannabis, which is the key in that whole equation. Still make craft cannabis, and you know,
And have fun doing it too,
Yeah.
because to me, that's just as important.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, if I'm not feeling it and I'm not, you know, and there's a disconnect, that's no fun. It feels like a chore.
Yep.
That's why, like in your case, if there's less work, I feel that that's just more time to just spend good
Enjoying
quality time enjoying your plants
Yep.
without having to do all the worrying of everything. When you got it dialed in like you have, it's
because we
you
all
know.
know that feeling when you open the door. I guess in your case,
Yeah.
Z06, it would be the door for us, or unzip the tent, or before, I guess we would open the door and you could tell, like, oh wait, it's way too humid in here, something's broke down, you know, and then you get
Yep.
that panicky feeling. Or you open them up and you just see a bunch of droop, and all of a sudden you realize, holy shit, it's really hot, you know. And man, so when you open the door and you see, or the tent, and you see those nice leaves praying and everything looks happy, everything seems to be jiving the way it should be with your automation, it is a great feeling, man. It's just like you're connecting, you know when something's wrong as soon as you get in that room, or you know if something's right when you get to that room.
Yeah, as soon as I open the door in this room, I can tell if one thing is off instantly.
hell yeah. Yeah, you become like a connected or whatever. You just get that feeling. Now Smart has like really spooked me with that. Like we've opened the tent and he's seen like mold. God forbid it don't happen again. But you know, he picks it out in the back of the tent. I'm like, how in the heck did you even see that? Like, he's like, I felt something off. I felt something wrong.
Something just seemed different there, you know. I had to
Yeah.
look.
He's like, something's off. And then he's like, there it is. And I'm like, oh my goodness. That's
You know,
wild.
you just get that feeling. I got to go searching. Something just don't seem right, or things are too smooth or something, you know. And it's like, then you find it, or you'll see that leaf that looks brown because it's getting brown from the bud out and not from the tip in. And that's always a surefire sign. And that's when my stomach just goes into my, oh man, it's about 4 or 6 inches down. The leaves, then you pull the leaf and it comes out like a little real way too easy.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know,
Which
it's just,
brings us
yeah.
back to this automated system that you have. You have it dialed in so nice that those conditions you have
Thank you.
them right, that you know that becomes less of a worry.
See,
And
that-
then like and going into your curing, you have zero worry there. I know that feeling of having the zero worry, and it, you know, you can't put a price tag on that.
Well,
feeling.
I was just going to say, there's in the chat, Mr. ADHDOG asked exactly, and this is not a question I'm asking you, but he says, how much does automation like yours cost? And we already know that he has X amount of canitrals and he has these top end lights and everything. So Mr. and Mrs. Supervet do have a good bit of an investment in here, and it shows, and it shows in their plants, you know, but you almost, there's no way to really put a price to. I think a room like this comes out of graduating from one spot to another spot, or you know what I mean, you're always adding stuff and maybe taking something away. So you know, it's
The money you save on growing your own cannabis can afford you sometimes.
It may
as
take
well.
longer to pay off, but it's definitely, if you have, you know,
I tell everybody to start with where you can, because I mean, if you start like on a scale of 1 to 10, and you start, I mean, we feel like we started at 1, and then instead of going straight to 10, you just add a little bit here and there, and you work your way to 10. You know what I mean? So it all comes with time and patience, and like I said, we made some mistakes. We had to go back and do other things and switch this around and that around. So my biggest advice to everybody on trying to do something like this is take your time. That's the biggest thing.
and they were asking again, how much power you're dedicating to that one room. I believe you mentioned earlier.
I was lucky enough. I have my panel box in this room, and I had plenty of room in my panel box. So all my breakers and everything are all dedicated circuits right to this room, so it doesn't share with anything else in the house.
So it
Yeah,
was
you
10
said
amps,
like
wasn't it?
less than 10 or something. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, the most amperage that I can run in here with everything and all the lights on 100% would probably be roughly about 14 amps, but I don't have to run nowhere near that power. So I'm usually running about half of that or less. So I'd say even right now, everything in this room running, I'm probably between maybe 6 to 8 amps tops.
Cool.
That is awesome information, and we really appreciate
That
you.
seems very efficient. to me.
Yeah, answering.
Yeah,
all these-
super efficient. And like I said,
Yeah.
all my air conditioner, dehumidifier, all my lights and everything. I think the HLG 600s are specs. I think they top out at like 5 amps, if I'm not mistaken, at 100%. So even if both of them running at 100%, you're only going to be at 10 amps with both of those.
Gotcha.
And like I said, I just tone everything down and like that. And we still using the power meter. It locks the exact light we need in. So I don't have to sweat if I'm too much or too little. And by the time the plants show it, it's kind of too late. You know what I mean? So we always try to stay on top of that.
That's awesome. You're doing such a fabulous job. I'm like in
And
awe.
like he said, he's learning as he goes. So he probably had to figure out somewhere along the line, I want to add CO2. Then you have to figure out, well, how much CO2 and what do I have to change, about my lights and things like that. So that's.
I have a question. Do you guys put these in a journal or like keep any type of like record?
Yeah, I got
your own
my
paper, your own journals, grow journals. Cool.
Pad and paper.
So I keep a history of everything week to week. If we encounter a problem or anything like that, I write it down and I just document everything week to week, how much water, how much nutrients, and we just keep a record of everything. So that way we kind of formulate a recipe, so to speak. So if we ever come back to any of these strains, we know exactly what we want to adjust or what we can do different this next time if we need to make any changes.
That's awesome. Yeah, because those can be valuable, very valuable in the future, just to, like you said, different strains and what they like. And
Exactly.
How many days did you veg those plants?
These are a 40-day veg, and I wanted to go 60, and Mrs. Supervette would not let me.
I think she made the right call.
I do too. I think she did. That's beautiful for 40.
It's not done stretching probably either. If it's 2
No,
weeks in.
yeah, he said like what, just around 2 weeks.
Yeah, so they're still stretching pretty good.
Yeah, you got about a week's worth of that left, huh? They're gonna get, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, and I certainly hope that you can like come back on the show and show everybody before you get the harvest or right around harvest. You're welcome back anytime, of course. I hope you know that. If there's a Wednesday evening or a Sunday afternoon show that you want to pop on, you're always welcome.
Oh yeah.
And that goes for everybody listening to. I want you all to feel free to share your links and
share your links, your codes. And
I'm going to throw one of my favorites up there. If you haven't signed up for the New Year's Grow Challenge, I'll put the link up there for Cocoa for Cannabis. That's where I like to keep my journals. Like I have my own, I have a paper journal here too that I have, but it's nice to be over on Cocoa for Cannabis and put those journals in, because it's a space where we can go and be like, well, reference those different strains and, you know, that's why I asked like, is your setup is so perfect. I know you're like keeping some type of tracker journal. That was really good advice given to us a long time ago.
Well, I wanted to say,
Thank you.
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, a friend of mine told me a long time ago, a short pencil is better than a long memory. So write it down.
That is very good advice. And I just didn't want you to get jealous when I turned my camera on here. That's our automation is a 6-way and a Govey hygrometer. So you know, that's the extent of ours, but we got a
Okay,
couple.
we're striving to get to where you're at. We're picking up the equipment here and there.
Yep.
You know, we got like some really
Oh,
nice.
y'all are doing great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It was a big change going from a room like yours to tents, man. I'm not a big fan of growing in a tent. There's just
No.
not enough room to be able to grow in the style I want to. I want to be hands-on. I can't even barely get to the ones in the back, you know, and that's the only way we can control the smell. So it's like, whatever, boo-hoo, shit on me, whatever. But I want to go back to the way you have it there, man. I think it's just much funner that way too, you know. And
yeah.
Hey, to the future
Yeah.
here, you know, we have a room in mind too that we can grow in this house when it does become legal. So we have big dreams, and just seeing your setup though is so nice, because that, you know, a girl can dream, right? That's what I dream about right there. That's an awesome setup you got.
these garden tours are my
Dreams.
favorite.
Dreams come true.
That's right. They do come true. They certainly do.
We get people on here that have perfect, they have all this automation like yours, and I highly respect that. And then we'll get those guys on here that have just the bare minimum. They're watering once in a while. They do low training or not much at all. And then they'll take you to the drying tent and you'll just see these nice, hard crystal buds. And it's like, I've seen good looking buds come from all different walks of life here when it comes to growing. And it's fun to see the many ways to skin a cat, you know?
It really is. And that's what I love about this too. This whole garden, we're all farmers here. We're farming.
There's a common thread here.
Yeah, there is.
And you have to always remember that success is relative, you know? Like, how can you really measure success from, say, because a lot of people will wonder, like, you know, well, when you have a guy that has 10 plants in a big room and you have a 3x3 stuffed under the steps, you know, it's kind of hard to measure. You shouldn't try to judge yourself from one person to the next. And that's what I'm getting at there. And I see a lot of times people are always trying to keep up with the Joneses. I like the different growing styles, man. I love some of the people that have soil that they just put water in for grow after grow and add stuff to it. I think that's awesome, you know. And then I also like the DWC. I like the speed of the growth and just, you know, the automation of it, how it's like a science project. Maybe it's the plaster in me. I mix so much shit my whole life. I enjoy mixing the newts, putting a bunch of shit in there and have a good end product. All these things have to work correctly and have a certain amount, and that's fun for me, but I know it ain't for everybody. So I just want to say that, you know, we appreciate everybody's growing style. And we appreciate people inviting us into their personal space, explaining it to us, putting yourself out on Front Street and answering questions that can sometimes be personal, you know, and big respect for you guys and girls that do that for us.
I'll second that for sure. And like Smart said, you put out a good vibe. You and your wife have a good vibe, and you know, you're doing a super job just to come on our show. We really do greatly appreciate you coming on and showing us.
Thank y'all so much for everything. We really appreciate it.
I say we get some coffee, roll another blunt, and we'll invite some of our friends from the chat if they want to come on. And
if you want to, did you post a link there?
I haven't yet. I got to go.
Yeah, if you don't mind, we'll put that link up.
Is that all right with you, Supervette?
Now,
yeah, absolutely. I'm actually going to peel out of here in just a minute, if that's okay. And all that. And I'm gonna still join the show and chat and everything and all that. But definitely, I'm gonna help the Supervette for a little while with the Sunday chores. So.
Right on, man. Well, that's awesome. I know we didn't really set up much of a time frame, and it seems it goes quick, doesn't it?
It goes fast.
the first hour, man. I remember you were saying it might only take 15 or 20 minutes, and I was thinking it always takes longer. So there it was, the whole first hour gone in a flash, and we really appreciate it, as my wife mentioned. And
we do have though a question in
Uh-oh.
chat. Someone wants to see under the skirt. So
uh-oh.
if you could maybe show us that before.
Oh, under
He
the
did
skirt.
once. Yeah, he did
Yeah.
once.
We can do that.
Yeah, if we can do one more time. And
Let me shut my.
I'm gonna grab some coffee. I'm gonna go talk to my barista. I will be right back in 2 minutes.
Thank you, baby. I turned my camera off, so it should be directly on him only. Yeah, man, that's a beautiful under the tent. Look at that's cool, man. You got a really cool setup there, and theirs growing strong. Is there a silica additive in that new millennia?
Yes, sir, there is.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, man, we'll definitely let you get going and go help Mr. Supervet. Like I said, I know you have a pretty busy lifestyle with the big family and everything, and all your plants going. So again, we appreciate the first hour. I know the wife and I always get messages and message back and forth with you guys, and I thought it'd be nice to kind of show everybody all the stuff that we've been seeing. And yeah, it's good content, man. People get to see how you might get some questions too sent your way. We'll share your link, and people might want to know a few things about your automation. Maybe dig a little deeper into your light or your CO2 meter, or you know, where you got them, what you paid, and things like that. Because sometimes it's nice to hear from, instead of just reading a review, you know what I mean, on Amazon. You want to talk to someone who's actually in the process of using it and find the ups and downs. That's always good.
Yeah, definitely. That's more than fine. If we can help you, we certainly will try.
All right, Supervet. I'm going to put the link up there. You're welcome to hang or go or whatever you want. And please, if your wife happened to step out early, please tell her that we say hi and thank you as well.
I sure will. Thank y'all so much again. Thanks, chat, for the time and all that today. And we appreciate everything.
Grow with love.
Grow with love.
All right, I put the link up in the chat if anybody wants to jump on and hang out. I thought it was a pretty fun time there the first hour. Once my wife comes back with the coffees, we'll go ahead and roll up another blunt here for the second hour. Let's see here. We had some stuff here. Some of our plants got tall on us there, and we buried them a little bit in there. And I was just curious. One of my questions was going to be, has anybody in the chat had to do that before? And if so, how did it work out for you? I think these might be the ones we buried the deepest. They got long. I had that light on 30%, and I didn't come home from work for a long time. And my wife wasn't here later in the day. So pretty much the second half of the day, they just sat there and stretched out on us in our little rapid rooters. And so when we taught it up, we ended up burying some of the stem, you know. Now I know we're safe to bury it up to the cotyledons, but I'm just curious if anybody's ever done that and experienced like a higher level of pythium or anything like that. Oh, check it out. There's Art Man, and here comes somebody else. Here comes Lemonine. Sorry.
Lemon and Art Man, awesome to have you. And I just want to say, like, yeah, that happened really, really quickly, like within a matter of hours. You know, I went to hang out with my mom, and I come back and I was like, damn. And I'm like, hashtag blame it on Crispy. Wait till Swan sees these leggy girls. I was like, crap, you know, it was very quick.
I buried about half of it, but if I'd have went any further than that, I'd have been setting our rapid rooters right on the bottom of the solo cup before any cocoa went in. So, you know, I didn't want to do. Let's see here. What's happening?
Grow, Art Man.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It is going awesome now that you are here.
I'm having a great.
Well, I got to
day.
say that setup, my God, Supervet setup. I thought my setup was automated.
Yeah,
that thing is fantastic. I couldn't believe it.
It is.
So he's listening. That is great, man. That is That is my dream, actually.
Mine too. Like, and it was awesome because, you know, he sent us pictures of this journey, and we're just, I feel honored to have a backstage pass to like the whole following it along, and it just is amazing. It's such a cool place that he's here. He's arrived, and him and his wife are doing an outstanding job. But I got
Without a doubt.
100%.
I'm sorry.
No, I agree. That setup is my dream.
I actually have a lot of the equipment he does on a smaller scale, though. So, but he has some other stuff that I've never seen before, and I'd like to look at it.
Yeah, it's awesome when people come on the show and like you get to see different tricks and stuff, and you're like, damn, you know, yeah, can you walk me through this? And this is such an awesome community. Everybody that I've ever gone behind the scenes and like gotten in DMs and asked questions are always very receptive to show and tell.
Yeah.
Awesome community.
There's Limonene, there's Weed Nerd, DWC, there's the whole crew. Lemonine, I'm sorry, I keep saying his name wrong. Please don't think I'm ever disrespecting you.
Think limousine, man. Limousine.
I know. I have the worst. I've been saying.
Hey, Lemonine, how's it going, man?
Hi guys, hi everybody. Good to be here. I rarely get to make it, so when I do, I'm really chuffed.
Cheers. You guys hearing me? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we hear you.
Welcome aboard. Welcome back.
Yeah, nice to see you guys.
Thank you.
Good.
I've been preparing 3,500 plants for flipping tomorrow.
Oh,
It's our big switch day tomorrow. So everything's done. Everybody's cleaned up. Ready to go into flower. Let's see what happens.
Nice.
3,500 plants, huh?
Well, 3,552 to be precise, but
Oh, well, that's just,
you know, give
That's
or take a
different.
plant. Yeah. Well,
on
we've got to
it.
account for every one of them. No such things as plants going missing or anything like that.
Yeah, and
I imagine so.
that's only like 20% of the entire operation, or if I recall correctly.
No, that's 3 greenhouses. We've got 8.
Okay.
We've actually shut down 3 because we've had flooding, so we've got to fix that. It doesn't rain for much here. It doesn't rain often, but it rains properly, and we get all sorts of problems. Being in a sort of depression, it's not really a valley, but it's a depression. So all the water from all the surrounding area tends to stream down towards us. So occasionally we get the odd problem. So we've got a couple of greenhouses out of commission, but it's winter anyway, so we tend to do less in winter. But yeah, it's going well. I'm going to be off for a few days. I've made sure everything's okay. First few days in flower, the agronome there can take care of it, and I'm just going to have more time to concentrate on my other work, be on the forum more, because I often pop in on the forum a lot, but just literally for a minute or two, and then I drop out. So apologies to everybody. I don't mean to be rude or anything. It's just I'm back and forth a lot.
No worries, man. We're glad to see you.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Definitely.
I can't wait to bounce around the room here and get a check at all these gardens I'm looking at. I see a joint on clips. I see a bunch of DWC action over there, and the LED grower looks like his plant's ripping through the net and reaching for the stars over there. So we got some action happening here. Where should we start, babe?
Oh, God.
Anybody want to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
Looking good,
Let me see
LED.
if I can get you on the big screen here.
Sure.
There we go. And it's on gallery view. Or no, it's on speaker. I got to put it on gallery. Let me see if I got this right.
No, you're good. It's like before now. It's just when it's 2 that you have to do that weird thing where you have to turn off. But now he's spotlighted. Doesn't matter if it's on gallery or
Oh, okay.
speaker. It's when you take the spotlight off, then you have to choose between those 2.
Well,
But you're good.
I took him off by accident. I'm sorry. Hold on. Remove. Let me go back to gallery. All right. I'm just going to put him on spotlight and let it go. Hopefully we'll be able to converse without taking the picture away. Look at that. It looks nice. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
How's everybody?
Very
Doing
good.
good.
I think that your plants like your net.
About as good as your
I
plan.
appreciate this. This the first time I ever did it. I got a couple of empty holes, but for the first time me using a trellis net, it turned out good.
Oh, yeah.
It turned out awesome for the first time. Hell yeah.
They look happy.
Some of those are getting long enough. You might be able to reach out to another hole and still kind of maintain a little height, but I don't know. I can't recall how far you are into flower. It looks like maybe 3 weeks or so, maybe.
This is the start of week 3 right here. Today is the start of week 3.
Cool.
That's looking good, man. And if you want to stretch any which don't quite reach the net hole with those sort of nets or scrogs, you can just tie it with a bit of garden twine or wire or whatever you guys call it, soft wraps. You can tie it to
The green ties there. Yeah.
Yeah, the green ties. That's it.
It's an anchor point. It's an extra anchor point all over the place, basically. If you
Yeah.
can't use the net itself, it could be used as an anchor point for whatever tie you got.
Because
So I just need.
Sorry, go ahead.
So the best thing to do is just bring it down and pull everything over one.
If you can spread it out as much as possible and not lose that even canopy, do so. If you've got growth in one stem coming up which doesn't quite reach the next hole, you can always move it around and use cable ties to maintain it as an even canopy. But the more you can open it out, the better.
You bend them around there to at your will, not theirs.
Hey,
And they'll conform, yeah.
it looks like he kept a good, perfect amount of bud sites for, his training, his light and shit. It looks like a nice, even balance there.
Exactly. It's actually got a bowl shape, which is perfect.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
You know what I mean? Like the
that?
middle's a little deeper, which is what you want because that's where the hot spot is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
What
perfect.
strain is that, bro? That thing's nice.
I appreciate it. I don't know. I might try to pull everything down. I'm quite, like I say, this is the first time using a trellis, and I believe if I mess with it, man, I'm gonna mess everything up.
You're afraid you're
I
gonna
really do.
break it. You're
I'm not afraid of breaking it. I'm just afraid that it's gonna be out of position and it's gonna be uneven.
What week you in?
That's the only thing. I'm not that good at
Beginning
training
of
under the
third.
trellis. This is my first
Third?
time, so I'm not really sure on really what to do and how to move everything to keep that canopy even.
So it's not done stretching yet, then potentially.
It's right at the end if he's on like day 21 since flip. So he's
Yeah,
getting-
yeah.
Yeah, but he
potentially
could
that'll
still
be
get
the final look, right? It'll just get fatter at this point.
Yeah.
you could still get some growth out there even past day 21.
Yeah.
But if it's his first time scrogging, is that right, LED? Yeah, your first time, first scrog
Yes,
today.
this is my first time with this grow doing it. This is my first time using a trellis net with this grow with any grow.
You've done a
at all,
fine job.
period.
You've done a great. You've
So-
really done a great job. So if you can open it up a bit without the risk of snapping, then do so. If you're afraid it will snap, don't do it. It looks really, really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think 5 more
Okay.
weeks, you're gonna have some nice stacked up buds right there, LED. I got 2 questions if you don't mind me asking, and hopefully
Sure.
one, what strain is that?
This is the PFG by Welcome to the Grow Tent, the Purple Frost Giant.
Okay.
Nice.
And that's, I believe you said that was soil that's like just regular potting soil. Was I right there?
Yes, that's just Walmart soil. I was able to find me, I think it was maybe like a 5-pound bag of Walmart soil, and they also had maybe 3 bags. It was like some cocoa core. It was cocoa husk. So what I did was I kind of mixed it with the cocoa coir and that soil, but I had more cocoa than soil. I don't really know about, I don't want to overwater, so I'm not really that good with using cocoa, but I mixed it with soil so if the plant would have something to feed off of, so I wouldn't have to worry about using any nutrients. So I kind of did half and half, and this is the turnout on it.
It looks good. You know, some people call that synganics because it's half synthetic, half organic or whatever. And maybe that doesn't quite here, but I like it that you did half and half, and it's working great for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, cause I haven't fed this plant any nutrients, and the only thing I give it is CalMag. So that's the only thing I really given it. That's the only thing I really done.
Nice. Cool, man.
But my transitions, you know, I stay in a solo cup for a good 4 or 5 weeks. Then I go to a 1 gallon, and I start my training. I usually start my training in my topping in my solo cups. By the time I get to my 1 gallon pots that I use, I'm usually already have anywhere to at least 8 branches, 8 tops. So I start off from there, and then I just usually just transition as slowly as possible. Like, I'm not real big on trying to rush it to veg. I stay in a seedling stage as long as possible, and then I start my veg, and I stay in my veg. Usually, this is maybe like a good 7.5, 8 week veg.
You know, I think somebody had mentioned in the chat, and I would have to agree. I think that if you were so inclined to, you could probably put the next run through this tent, you could probably put another plant of the same size right beside it and totally fill it from corner to corner. And
that's my plan. Now, my last grow, I had 2 plants in here, but one of them hermed on me, so I had to take one of them out. I had to get rid of it. I do have the other plant that I started off in this tent. I have it in my other flower room, and I'm gonna take you and show it to you. But most of y'all that know it, I do have a grow channel. I am the LED grower. But before I got this Grower's Choice light that New York John sent me, this plant grew up under 100 watts to maybe about like 3 weeks ago when I flipped it after I got my light right before a week before, maybe about 3 days before Christmas. I got this Grower's Light Choice, and the whole time it was up under 135 watts, which I ran that light only at 100 watts.
So it had a long, slow veg, basically.
yeah, and that makes sense.
And then boom, you know, you gave her the juice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that looks good, man, for that. Yeah.
Exactly. Just that makes it even all that much more impressive. And I think it would be cool to be able to check you out. We'll have to get your link. There it goes. My wife just shared it into the chat. People can go and check it out. And I'm sure next time you run something through this tent, it'll be a little bit different, huh?
Yeah, of course. Of course it will. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you my flower tent, the one that started off in this room here, and then I'm gonna hop off and let some other guys and show their plants. Give me one second.
It, man.
Thank you for sharing. This is awesome.
Yeah, no rush, man.
Oh yeah.
Check it out.
Now this is the one I started out flowering in that tent, and this is 7 weeks in.
I love that wood background, eh? It gives a nice contrast.
Appreciate it.
That was nice of John to send the light out. What a good grooming, huh?
He is.
I try. I try.
That's awesome. You're doing a fantastic job.
You got the
Appreciate
DW.
it. And
Look at that.
I got my DWC right there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be venturing into the water here.
And here's my girls for the New Year's Grow Challenge. I got 6 OG Kush seeds already up.
Nice. They're pushing.
Nice.
They're pushing.
I like that.
They get bigger every day, eh? It's like, keep going,
So
ladies.
that's what I got going along.
Right on.
Looks
Looking
great.
good.
Hey, man, you
Appreciate
always
it.
have a good attitude and you come on our show and bring a good energy. And we always like to see inside your tent, to see your buds, and you're always willing to share your personal space with us. I hope that everybody will see your link in the chat and follow along. And I hope you'll continue to come back and join us more often. And like, you're welcome to stay and hang out and do whatever, man. I just wanted to make sure I got that.
I watch y'all. I watch every show that y'all do. I will be out in chat, but I'm just gonna hop off. I will be in chat, and I will be keeping my links up in chat. No, it's not a problem. I'm just glad I can be a part of your community.
We're lucky
Appreciate
to
you having
have you. We're lucky to have you as a
that-
part of this community because, like Smart said, you have such an awesome energy. And thank you for coming on and sharing.
Anytime, and that worked both ways. So thank you
Welcome.
guys.
You're welcome.
Talk to you later, buddy.
All right, y'all have a good one.
You have
Cheers,
a good-
LED.
All right, let's see here.
Who wants to share next?
Who's up next? You want to go next, Weed Nerd?
All right. Well, not much to show there, and just it's all Smiley's garden stuff there. So I got what was it? Jack Skillington crossed with Jilly Bean, or Jilly Bean crossed with Jack Skillington, and I got Sundial, I got Sky Stomper, and I got Hippie Goggles, and then Amy Aces from Tao.
Yeah.
He says, I ain't got much. Just ramble off
That's
six.
awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I like the names of those strains. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jilly Bean crossed with Jack Skellington. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all good, it's all TGA stuff, I guess, and Smiley's, base genetics and all that, and Amy Aces, of course, right? And I dropped 15 because they're all regulars, and I just want 5, so I dropped 3 of each. And the only thing that didn't pop really was one of the Hippie Goggles there. I got a no pop at all, and then I got another one that got a helmet head, and I think I kind of damaged it. They're trying to flip it around. It was upside down with the helmet head, so it's like double whammy there. And the root was already kind of established in the root and the rooter. So when I tried to flip it, I likely broke it somehow. So it's just sitting there dead, I think. But everything else is gone. So that's good.
Yeah, man.
We'll see how it goes there. So now I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do my sex testing there, because I know Miranda there, Green Goddess, she got COVID there recently. So that's a little problematic there. I don't want to put her in any extra stress for dealing with that stuff. So I'm probably just gonna go ahead and run them all. I was planning on doing a quick flip, so I'm gonna probably flip at 21 days, like if not less, as quick as possible, and then make do with how it goes out, how it plays out, and get 5 going. All right, but I'll have to grow them all out. So, but I'm ready for it. I got the gear. I can handle it.
I was going to say, you know how it goes, Weed Nerd. You're looking for 5, so you start at 15. You'll get 13 females, But if you was started
My luck.
looking for 5,
You're gonna pull a smot. That's what you're gonna do.
That happened to me with the green crack, right? Because when I first ran them, I didn't know they were femmes, and I ran 8, and I figured I'll get 4, right?
Oh,
They were all femmes.
All
like,
female.
Oh, yeah, okay. And
Go figure.
bag seats, I didn't know, right? But yeah, so I grew them all because I'm like, no, I'm not killing a femme. Fuck that. It's bad enough. I gotta kill males.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now it's like, well, if they're femme, I don't know. I might have to kill them anyways. But at least I'll be able to choose.
yeah.
The better one.
That was always nice to, have a little variety and be able to choose and pick the ones you want. Some might not look the greatest, and you're thinking, I got to send that into the next.
Because I've heard a lot of people talk about that, how they, they drop the whole 10 pack and then they pheno hunt the pack, basically just to grow out that best one. But me, I've only ever just grown the seed. Like I drop that seed, I expect to grow it out and smoke it.
Yeah.
All of it. You know what I mean?
Somebody
Like
was saying the other day,
I don't drop seeds for fun.
somebody was saying the other day, if I drop a 10 pack, or if I open it, I got to drop all of them. I can't remember who it was, but they said it feels weird if I don't crack all 10 of them. And I'm thinking,
If you were breeding, I'd agree, right? You want
Yeah.
the best possible genetics, and that would be definitely a way to go. But
Well, or if you've got limited tent space. I mean, when we're back in the day when I used to do 10 grows myself, which I don't anymore, I drop 10 seeds at a time, choose the 4 strongest. That's
to
the way
make
to go.
sure yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it
makes
depends
sense.
how expensive the seeds are, how rare they are, obviously. But you know, at the time I was living in the Netherlands, so that wasn't a problem. So, you know, I'm a big believer in, you know, if you're doing home grow, it's an expense. You know, you got electricity, you got the equipment, you got everything. You're investing a lot. So, with the limited space one has, you know, for the sake of the price of seeds,
It's
of
less
5 or 10
attractive.
seeds,
Yeah.
just do it, and choose a, you know, however many you could comfortably grow in there, obviously, because you know it's diminishing returns if you just stick. I mean, if you get 10 plants and grow 10 small plants, or if you choose the 4 strongest and grow 4 larger ones, you're going to end up with this more or less the same yield anyway. But if I were a home grower now, I'd always go for quality.
That's the thing. It's the space, right? Because if I had a
Yeah.
field, I'd just chuck a whole whack of them and just, you know, it doesn't really matter. There's not much labor involved. But with my DWC, each bucket, each stone, you know what I mean? Each
Yeah.
morning check in the morning there, it's like, oh man, I got to do this 15 times for what, you know? So yeah, it becomes a little different
That's
as
low
far as the
automation
goal,
too,
right?
you know?
Because I get that. Like I'd want to have the 4 best of the pack going. Especially if
Yes.
I couldn't have more than 4, right? So you make sure those 4 are the best and they last. And
Yeah, most people are limited for either laws or just space. So,
yeah.
you know, it makes sense to go with the best because you know, you plant a seed or you plant 10 seeds. There's no guarantee how many you're going to get really strong, vibrant plants. Obviously, if it's from good stock, if the breed is good, then you're more likely to. But
Right.
I mean, we don't usually plant seeds. Occasionally, we do a seed grow, obviously for mothers and other specific uses. We do seed grows, but when we take thousands, you know, I take what, let's say for 3,000 clones that we need to raise and vegetate and then flower, I will take something of the order of 4,000 cuttings just to give
Yeah.
us not that we have, you know, we don't have a 25% failure rate. We've got a 90% plus, 95% plus even success rate. But we grow all of everything that roots, we grow out, and then we make the decision what we're culling. And, you know, whether you're culling, for me personally, whether you're culling for your home grow or you're culling for a big commercial operation, it's always a little bit painful. You don't want to throw plants away. However, you know, everybody from the smallest home grower to the biggest commercial producer has limitations, and you have to make those decisions based on your resources.
Oh yeah. Nothing worse than a halfway there, just perfectly healthy. And it's like, bye-bye, you're a male, you gotta go. You know?
Yeah. Well, either males or plants that don't make the cut, basically.
Herms or, you know, or just like you said, it's a
Runts.
choice between femmes and it's like you only got room for one. So the other's gotta
Yeah.
go.
Runts, you get runts all the time with seeds, and as I keep saying over and over, and it's a bit of a mantra, not all seeds are created equal. So
Yeah.
even the best breeder, there will be variation. There are different plants, but even with clones, and a lot of people don't know this, even with clones, you're not always going to get 100% uniformity. You know, for whatever reason, it's not genetic based, it's usually cultivation, it's usually how it's been taken care of. But we also get failures, we also get the ones that are runty, and we don't transplant those. So whatever you are, whatever type of grower you are, you know, from a small tent, or you know, in your bedroom wardrobe closet, whatever, or a large grower, you're always going to have to make that decision. And it's you know, I don't know about heartbreaking, but it's, you know, one does not like to destroy the plants, but you have to just get the best ones and give them the best chance for success.
Yeah, selection is definitely important, you know.
Some of that's like a dime holding up a dollar. So you don't want to like just crack 5 seeds hoping for 4, and then you don't have enough, and then your lights run longer because you have to get more out. And then there are 2 different sizes in your tent. You have some plants that are 10 days older than the other. So I think what you're saying about popping all 10 of them, it makes a lot of sense, especially if the price is right, you know?
Oh yeah. But I've been looking at the prices, and like some of them are like really expensive. So I can understand people, buying, 3, 5 seeds at a time, or 10 seeds at a time, and they don't want to, blow the whole lot in one go.
Right.
I do get that, but if you look at it from an investment point of view, over the return of investment, and we're talking about the cost of your equipment, the cost of your running the lights, etc., running the pumps, and that's 3 month to 4 month period, or however long your cycle takes, it's going to work out. I think in the long run, it's going to pay much more. You'll get a bigger return on that investment by sprouting the seeds, growing them to a seedling. So you can already tell from the seedling stage what are going to be the winners, unless you mess up in cultivation wise. Genetically, you can generally tell within the first couple of weeks which are going to be the stars, and you call the rest.
I agree.
The way them plants grow in DWC, he's never going to have room for all those. But yeah.
No, that's the thing. And I got small buckets, so if I would have had the 5-gallon bucket set up, that wouldn't have worked. It's just too many buckets, right? That just doesn't fit. But
Yeah.
I could either go big tote and try to get everything in one tote somehow, or a couple of them, right? Or go individual small ones. Like I'm thinking 1 to 2 gallon buckets, and that's it. 1 gallon should get me to sex them. You know what I mean? It'll be tight in there, but I'll be able to get it going to the point where I can tell, and then call and go ahead with the 2s after.
I think that's
Yeah.
I got enough buckets. Yeah.
that's a good bit of work, man. You know?
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy morning. Duty's gonna be extra duty.
I'm jealous of you guys with your Walmarts and similar stores. You can just go and pick up a tote container for a few bucks, and I got to really hunt these things down or order them, and they're like really expensive. But you guys can get really cheap, useful stuff.
Yeah, well, hydroponic growing is not just for weed, right?
Yeah,
I'm
just talking about
hydroponics. It makes sense.
I'm just talking about the
sell.
range of products,
No,
hydroponic
exactly.
and otherwise. It's just like a mind-boggling array of goods that you can get hold of easily and cheaply. So yeah,
I wouldn't
I'm jealous of
pretend
you
to
guys.
know, Halimo, because I've never been around there, and so I don't know. But I'm
Yeah,
sure
but
it's a lot
wait,
different.
from your accent, I mean, I don't know, but you're Canadian? Well, you sound Canadian
Yeah, I'm
to
Canadian,
me.
but it's like
Okay,
America. We're the
but it's
same.
like America, just politer, right?
Yeah,
They got
exactly.
the, they
Doors are
got the same
unlocked. That's
sort of
about it. Yeah.
they got the same sort of. You've got these. I mean, I'm sure you have Walmart equivalents. I mean, I don't know what chains are
Oh yeah, we
operating
got
there, but
Walmart.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Walmart, Canadian Tire. Yeah, that's like a home hardware in the U.S. Or I guess. If you guys have home
Yeah.
hardware, I don't know, but
Now we don't have any of that stuff, so that's why I'm jealous.
yeah,
All right,
Canadian
I'll shut
Tire is
up
great,
now.
man. It's got everything. That's my mason jar repository.
Hey, talking of mason jars, it's something so basic, right? You think so basic, so cheap, you can get it everywhere. When I first arrived here, where I'm living now in the Middle East, and I was looking for jars that fit properly, airtight jars, something that the seal wouldn't dry out after 3 weeks or whatever. I found mason jars, unbelievable, in this really sort of swanky shopping mall, and each one was, wait a second, I'll tell you how much it was. Each one, these were like 2 liter jars. They're not huge.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was close to $28 American
Holy shit.
dollars. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's why I'm
Well, you
jealous.
guys don't jar food over there? Like, what the hell?
No,
Well,
they
they're
just
made to
love
preserve food, right? Like,
they do, but it's I was specifically looking for something like mason jars because it's got a very wide neck, and
yeah, the wide mouth ones are that ones.
exactly, yeah. Anyway, I'll stop my consumer
No,
rant now.
but it's crazy because on Amazon, if you try to get mason jars, it's nuts. It's like the price is ridiculous. It's a few things on Amazon you don't want to buy because you just go locally, it'll be like a third of the price. Yeah.
I think it's $11 here for a case of wide
A
mouth.
buck each or something like that.
Oh, shut up! You're really pissing me off now.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
But online they're $5 a piece. It's like, what? It's like, no thanks.
it's hard to find the lids, man. We'll have the jars for years and years, but the lids I like to change, every so often, but they sell.
You have to buy third-party ones there because they won't sell them. They're so cheap. You just might as well buy the whole jar. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
The lid's more expensive than the jar, I think.
I'd like to just keep my jars and buy new lids, but they always seem, especially when like harvest season comes around, everybody's canning. They'll sell out 2 months before and won't be able to replenish until 2 months after. So there's a big swath there where there's no jars or anything, it seems like, But after that, the rest of the year, and they're not expensive. And then they have, all the different sizes too. They have the amber jars and shit, but I'm not into that. They want a lot more for that shit.
Yeah, pricier for sure.
Yeah.
Someone's asking if they can mail you jars.
Mail him jars.
Can we mail him jars? That's pretty cool. Scrubs.
Yeah, glass and steel. I mean, I'm sure there's no,
Yeah,
restrictions on
if they get here and if it's not over something silly like 60 or 70 bucks, whatever it is, they don't levy duty above that amount. But I don't want to draw attention to myself. Thank you so much. It's such a generous, lovely offer, but I don't draw attention to myself because of what I do for a living. So I don't want to, complicate things on a personal level.
I'm making jams, man.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, like we're so not a domestic, preserve and pickle our own stuff family. That would never ever be credible.
That's funny. Well, we still got some time here. Let's slide over and get a glimpse at the Art Man's tent now.
There's no tents here, buddy. No tents. Only rooms.
You'll have to park the picture there. Was you done, Weed Nerd, with your tent?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, let's move over here. What I call it, a
yard stuff.
A tent. Oh shit.
The velvet punch finally decided to grow like a regular plant. It's actually filling in quite nicely.
She looks happy now. She was all droopy.
It is. I took the main cola, the top, and another clone from the bottom. But I don't know what caused it, but it exploded. And there's my Flow OG clone for next generation.
Yeah, man.
Let's go back over here.
Oh, the clippings. Nice.
That's the Velvet Punch. I just cut this one. This thing looks like a little tree. Look at all those nodes in it.
Is
wish
that
all
the
my
top?
clones were like that. No, it is not the top. It's one of the lowers. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's well.
And these are the Velvet Punch, though. I'm sorry, Spawn?
I said that's a well pronounced stem for a lower.
Oh, it is. It's crazy. Well, that was that fat thing I moved into flower. You'll see that in a second. And these are one of these two will go into the grow challenge.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
You'll find that when they take off, they may take a little bit slower with more nodes on them to root, but when they do take off, you'll get some really, really good branching, and the growth on them will be phenomenal.
Great.
Solar
What I want
panels
to
to
hear.
get going. And if it doesn't root right, well, you got a bit of backup newts there as far as it'll eat itself. Like I've seen that.
Yeah, but generally, we have different styles of taking clones. One of the styles is not to take clones cuttings with a lot of nodes on them. Just leave the two nodes. But sometimes we do grows when we have got a short period and we need a very quick veg. Then we take clones with quite a few nodes on them. They take a couple of days longer to root, but when they do root and going into veg, the growth is much more vigorous. It's much faster. There's a lot more branching.
It's like a head start there kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that is the Harlequin right there. That's supposedly a 7-foot plant. I've said that before here, but yeah, that was supposed to be 7 feet tall. So
yeah, I usually take node one there, and it's
yeah. So was I, but my mother would smoke when she was pregnant. You know why? Hey, what do you mean? It was meant to be 7 feet tall. I don't understand
the
that.
description. The description and the when I bought it said it was supposed to be a sativa dominant, and it was supposed to grow 7 feet tall, which I didn't notice at the time. but you know, I've got a 6-foot room, so I never grew it out at all. But yeah, now it's only 20 inches. So anyway, and that's the other Flow OG I have in flower about 3 weeks, I believe. So
Yeah, I guess that's if you don't touch it, right? Like if you
I
just
don't know
grow
what
it
the
out,
hell
you
happened.
don't train it, nothing there. It should grow out to about 7 feet.
Outside, maybe outside,
Or
you know,
out,
so
yeah.
even
Well,
Dom
I'm
plants
hoping
get
it's
very
still
big.
well, I'm hoping it's a CBD plant because I don't know. They may have made a mistake.
Hmm.
I don't know. 7 feet might quit anyway. But I got my other little light here lower. Now I have 2 different lights, and this is gonna. Gigi likes a great canopy, but this one's going to be 2 levels, which
Oh,
should be interesting. I'm not looking forward to it, honestly.
I see it.
But it's
I
the only way
see
I
it.
could get in the grow challenge. So
Yeah. Hey.
Duplex canopy.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
about
see
it.
your end caps there, your little extenders for the second upper canopy versus the lower canopy. I was looking at that.
Oh
That
yeah,
SP's
you can
running
get all
too,
that
right?
hardware on the net. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You got that SP3000 running too?
Yeah, that's the one on the lower level, and then I have my
Nice.
the R spec on the top. Actually, Vet Supervet has an R spec. He has 2 of them. Mine's a 650. His is a 600 bit. And that's about all that's going here, though. What do you
It's
think,
just
Lemonade?
it's the angle, eh? It makes it look
Sorry,
good.
I didn't hear.
What do you think?
I think that's a really lovely setup. It's going to be hard work, though, or harder
Yeah.
work, maintaining
Yeah,
2
the 2 levels.
canopies. But you know, he's done a very, very good job. I mean, the plant's well pruned. I don't think. Oh wait, we're looking at a separate one now.
No, this is the one,
This is
the first veg room.
that.
But go
Okay,
on
right.
about
Sorry.
the
Yeah.
flower. Yeah,
Okay.
I just
But
read
it's I mean, you've shaped it well. The one, the taller one is shaped really well, like a Mediterranean citrus tree or olive tree. You guys know I go to Cyprus a lot, right? Because I like to get away to for the weekend with the missus. Every
Oh,
time
yeah.
I go there, they've got so many types of bougainvillea and plants that grow as trees, and they grow these colas. So everywhere you look, you see colas. Not our sorts of colas, but I just feel very at home there. But anyway, you've shaped it really
You
well.
notice them things now.
Yeah, you shaped it really well, like these little bougainvillea trays with all those colas. And if you can get in there and look after the canopy on 2 levels, then that'll be a great harvest.
Well, I have access on 3 sides of my grow, so complete access. So that'll be pretty easy.
Yeah,
So,
well, you'll
especially
be
the big one.
busy, but you know it's worth it.
Oh yeah.
And that's also when when you're growing different strains. I mean, with me, it's not such a big problem doing it in greenhouses, obviously. But when you've got limited room and you're growing different strains, it's there's a lot of running around and turning. If you're not using if you're using a scrog, you've got to plan it really, really well. If you're just growing separate pots, you've got to you're putting things under one pot and not another. You're trying to maintain an even canopy. It can be a real pain.
I agree. I'm gonna do it though.
That's
Yeah.
it. I was thinking the same thing.
That's the right attitude to have too.
Yep.
Just
Well,
saying.
yeah. I mean, I totally agree with it. If you want different types of buds, then absolutely.
Different strains.
Yeah,
I have a
one
question for you, Lemonade. Tal last week mentioned using grafting if you have a plant count for
Yeah.
different strains. Keeping different strains. You think that would be viable at all, or?
It's viable, but why? I mean, if you want to do it for the hell of it, for the fun, for what do you say, Americans say, shits and giggles, something like that, or is that really old-fashioned? Am I remembering something from a 50s comic?
No,
No, that's good.
Good point, because you got to get there, right?
Yeah.
And so you're
yeah.
going to exceed the plant count to get to that one plant. So
Yeah.
Not if you add them one at a time.
you might as well just grow them all out and take
Is
the
that
chance.
why people are considering it, to get around the X number of plants per household rule?
That's the only reason I would consider it, other than for fun, like you said. I mean,
And
I saw a guy on
to have
YouTube that
different
did it.
strains. And to have different strains.
Yes, absolutely. That's the only reason. I thought that short, stubby one would be the perfect candidate because it would never grow tall. So
Yeah. There is. I mean, there have been studies done with it, because you know the cannabis plant is a not distantly related plant to hop plants that they make beer from, and it grows in the same way in a sort of trellis. So there have been studies conducted trying to graft cannabis onto hops and also to disguise it that way, with mixed results. Yes, it can be grafted. You can graft cannabis plants, obviously. I'm sure a lot of you have done it. It's not exactly grafting, but it's a very similar technique. It's called air layering or air cloning. Have any of you guys done that?
No, but I've seen
No.
I've seen some people do it with a ball that has soil, and I've seen some people do it with wrapped cheesecloth and foil and shit around.
Yeah,
it.
anything. It's
That's
a bit
the one, yeah.
fiddly, and I'm sure since you live close to a Walmart or similar, you can get some marvelous little plastic thing for like 2 cents that will do it for you. You can just clip it in. But
That's where you root it
essentially,
off the branch, right?
yeah, you
Yes.
take off a really strong, healthy clone as big as you like. Is one of the advantages of air cloning is you can take huge clones and then cut it off the mother plant and just grow it and flower it if you want. So you take off your clone, you scrape very slightly around the outside, dip it in rooting hormone or gel or powder, whatever you guys use. Put it on the place where you want to graft it, bind it, and it will take longer to graft than air layering, but it will be very traumatic for the plant, and it will take you some time to develop something that has got more than one strain. And as somebody mentioned, how are you going to do that legally? Because even if you have one plant that's got 6 different strains on it, I don't know how likely it is that one would be busted for something like that. And if they did bust you for that, would they really say, oh, this plant is not one plant, it's really 6 different plants? I mean,
That's the
who the
thing.
hell
They
would
might
know
say,
that?
hey, man, this one plant has 7 strains. That means you had 8 here at one point. You're under arrest.
Yeah, but
They're smart
you
enough.
know, I'm thinking that is like vaguely paranoid, because I don't know, because I don't live over there, and I don't know what law enforcement is, etc., and how their knowledge is. But can you honestly see that happening?
No, well, that's the thing. It's
Well,
just
here's the other part of this. I think
paranoia, right?
here's the other part I'd like to mention is that by the time you was grafting this one at a time, and when you got to the end, the amount of time that you had spent, you could have grown each strain individually with a quick short veg and just harvested the son of a bitch versus putting it in there. You know what I mean?
It'd be nice
Absolutely.
to keep as a mother plant.
Yeah.
So you keep cloning off it.
I
Now you got
guess,
6 strains growing on one mom.
but you could only ever take one clone of one strain, or I don't know. Yeah, I
No,
guess.
but you got to clip it after the where the branch
Yeah.
hits and it becomes the other strain. You got to clip off that part.
It's an ingenious way to go around something there for sure. And I definitely love the thought process behind it, but I don't know if it's quite practical for a lot of applications. That's just my thoughts.
That's how apples are grown, aren't they?
Yeah, most apples are.
Yeah, but that's only with one strain. I mean, like we do this with citrus fruits, citrus trees as well. I mean, I've got a lemon tree which is grafted onto, and I don't know its name in English. Sorry, but it's a very old, ancient form of citrus. It's not a lemon, but the lemon tree is grafted onto that base, and that's how it's commonly done in many countries in the world. They graft with a single species, though,
Something
and
with
because
the
it's a,
system, yeah.
and it's also and again, I'm forgetting my English. The term for a plant that lives more than one season,
Perennial.
a perennial. Thank you. It's a perennial plant, and they're much hardier, and certainly trees are much hardier. Now, the cannabis plant, yes, you can revert it to veg, of course. Yes, you can perpetually keep it in veg if you wanted to, but it is not as sturdy as a tree. So I mean, I've never seen it
They
done with
graft
different.
to a perennial. Nice.
Yeah, I've never seen it. Well, like lemon trees. That's how we
Well, they're all
did
I
our
saw.
lemon tree. Yeah, we just grafted it straight onto this ancient form of lemon because it has a much more solid base, and it really works well. And we've been getting lemons for the past 12 years at least, lots of them.
I guess that'll
But
be
we've
hard with
got,
cannabis, right? Because
yeah,
it's a weed. There's nothing really that grows as a
exactly.
tree kind of thing.
You see what you would do. I mean, if you have the space, but this again would, as an experiment, I would graft one branch onto a mother plant or a plant that you're keeping in veg. See how it takes. Yeah. And then if it takes well, graft another one on. But if you're trying to get over a one plant limit, that's not really practical, obviously.
No, exactly. It'd be for curiosity or fun.
It sure makes
science,
for
whatever.
provocative thought, you know, it provokes some good thought, makes you start to think and play the tape all the way through with it, you know, whoever really travels down that road often. So it's fun to think about it and talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, I
Even
was
with
going
fruit,
to
right?
try that.
Like that video that you see on YouTube there or whatever. He buys all sorts of food at the supermarket and roots it. He's cloning everything, you know what I mean? He's like, you know, this can be cloned easily. He just puts it in the water, boom, shoots everywhere. It's like, holy shit.
Well, I can't remember. I want to
About
say
a year and a half ago, sorry guys, keep talking over each other. I just wanted to say about a year and a half ago, I wanted to actually do that. I wanted to do some grafting, and I made some inquiries, but I didn't even get to the place where I could start it because I was shut down straight away. And I was told, no, you cannot graft for the purposes of medical cannabis because there's too much risk of infection, blah, 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 and contamination. I mean, they're right in what they're saying, but I would have loved to because the farm is really the place where one has the opportunity, but unfortunately we're not allowed to do that.
You'd think at least for testing, like, you know, separated from the rest of the herd or whatever.
Well, you could do that, but honestly, the whole process, something like that would take about 8 months just to go through bureaucracy to be able to do it.
No.
So,
hey, I wanted to say hello to Scrubs and Shrubs. He's been sitting there with his mic off, and I wanted to say hello.
Rabbit.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, man.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah.
Nice to hear
today.
I'm in here messing with some stuff.
All right, let me get you on the big screen. We got some fresh.
I gotta go over here. Is Art Man still in here? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he lost his audio, he said.
We didn't.
So,
we didn't do anything on our end, man.
So
we were DMing and he's helping me get the cloning process going a little better, and these things are actually looking pretty good.
Nice.
I think this is 7 days. So.
Oh yeah.
But I got a bunch of towels testers. I think those are the OG Chem Dog Blueberry. And then I think there's some Amy and Ophelia for a friend. I got to drop those off later today. But
fucking good, nice.
Yeah, man. You got
need a riser on that dome.
Yeah, I've got it over here on the table.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, this one's like the smoke shop in town. I was talking to a guy one day, and he gave me just a random bag of seeds they kept out of a bunch of bags, and I was like, well, I'll just throw them in here.
Are they really old?
No, they're like 2 years old.
No,
but
okay.
It was funny that you all were talking about that grafting because a guy I worked with 2 weeks ago, he was talking about. He asked if I'd ever done any, so I started looking it up. But he's I think he's from Texas, but he said when I get back home, I'll hit you up. He said what the package said. I guess it was in his dad's stuff. He said 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they all say skunk.
Nice.
And I was like, all right. I said, I'll try them.
Yeah. Twist my rubber arm, huh? If you're gonna force me to try them, I guess I'll have to, you know. Oh, look, you got multiple errors going here.
But this one, I remembered back when you all had Kyle Breeder on. He where's that stuff at? he was talking about, I figured I'd give it a try, but it's supposed to revert from, because all I had was clones. It's
The
supposed to
one-shot
revert.
spray?
Yeah, it's supposed to. I sprayed this one, so it should turn male.
Nice.
And then this is the same strain, that Silver Pearl. And then this one in the back's a Black Sugar. I figured just for, what did he say earlier? Our
Shits and
was
giggles.
Shits and giggles.
Is it colloidal silver, Scrub?
Exactly. Like I was
Yeah,
like,
this
just
is a
for shits and
special
giggles,
product apparently. Apparently it's a
What
yeah.
product is
one-shot
that? I
deal.
didn't catch that.
Yeah,
What
it's like a
it's,
colloidal silver replacement, or it's better than STS too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. One
Like
shot.
application.
One
In
application,
Elite,
yeah?
Elite XE, Elite X Elite.
But apparently it didn't work every time, but when it did work, it worked really well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this
how
one I'm not
consistent
sure.
is it? Do we know how consistent this product is?
He
Oh,
recommended
that's a
it.
thing.
Yeah, he recommended it, and I was like, I'll try it. I mean, you can get probably 2 or 3 uses out of it,
Is it expensive?
but it was just, I think this was like $70 for.
Holy shit.
But
Yeah,
it's
that's
one application,
expensive.
right? So it'll last you
It's
forever.
expensive, but I was like, I'll try it, because I mean, like somebody like Kyle suggested, I was like, because I only have this in clone form. The only negative I saw on it was any seeds produced should be feminized. It'll only produce female seeds, so that kind of takes your perspective for future breeding out of it.
Yeah.
But I'd like to keep this in a seed form instead of having to keep clones growing all the time.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And if I mean, it works on the same principle. I'm just looking at it now. It seems to work on the same principle as colloidal silver and
STS.
silver thiosulfate solution. I'd be curious to know the results of that. It is very expensive. It's something that we'd never consider because of the expense. But then again, I don't mind buying a bit of silver nitrate and sodium thiosulfate, mixing it, because it's really easy and it's really, really cheap. So if you're doing a lot of seed making, it's worth it. It keeps forever, and it has 100% consistent results as long as it's mixed properly. But I'd be interested to know how you do with that, Scrub.
How often did you have to apply Limo with the STS? Because I know it was less than the colloidal,
I do STS for 3 weeks, but one day I pick one day in the week. And in the morning I give it a spray, in the evening I give it a spray, the following Sunday, let's say, the same thing, and then one last one. So it's total 6 applications, one day a week. You could do 3 applications, really. I just like to do 6 to be on the safe side, because it's really consistent and I get tons and tons of seeds.
2 a week for 3 weeks. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
And also sometimes less is more. Play around with the solutions, with the dilution rate to water as well, where you don't need it so strong.
Nice.
I do about I make up the recipe and then I'll dilute it 6 parts or 7 parts water.
Yeah, that's what I heard. You can get the base ingredients to make it very cheaply, and it's just a matter of
yeah. Silver, just buy dry silver nitrate and dry sodium thiosulfate. Get the anhydrous kind, and then you mix it. With water, you make 2 separate solutions. You mix both of them separately with water, and then those 2 solutions you can mix together. You don't have to do it at the same time, though, just as much as you need.
Hey, I gotta say something real quick. Our buddy Seed Person actually pointed this out. I guess I got a little overzealous. Our friend Kyle didn't recommend that. He just said he had used it. And he did mention this. Now, this reminds me as well, because I don't want to recommend something based on him and then it looked bad on him. So I definitely was in the wrong. I misspoke and I apologize, and I thank Seed Person for pointing it out. And also,
well, you recommended it with warnings, right? Because you said it works really well, but it doesn't work all the time. So
damn it, guys! There's going to be a lot of canceling of Amazon orders right about now.
Yeah, we're not that influential.
Yeah, that was my bad too. I remember Kyle had mentioned it, And yeah, now that you mentioned that, he did say something about the
Well,
success rate.
he
Yeah,
said
that
something
wasn't
about it.
100%, you know what I mean? So he was unsure about it, but that he was very hopeful potentially. It's just, it
I
came
think
with a
he's-
warning. It works great, but it's not 100%.
I think he said it worked almost every time, but it didn't produce viable pollen every time, is what they were maybe.
Yeah, I
hoping.
just understood it didn't work every time. So it wasn't
Yeah.
100%, but it worked on one application, which was the game changer for him.
I'm curious to see, and I know the other stuff like Lemonine was saying, it seems to be a lot cheaper, stable shelf
Yeah.
life. Those are all good things, man. Hey,
Well, now that I couldn't remember what the other two chemicals were, so now that it's recorded, I can go back and
No, exactly. I was gonna say we should go
save a
back.
little money.
Yeah,
maybe
sodium
misremembering.
thiosulfate, anhydrous, and silver nitrate.
Nice.
Hey, I seen a guy at Lemonine making his own reversing solution or whatever with an old school dime that was made from silver. He was doing electrolysis.
Yes, you can do that. You can do that, but honestly, I think it's much simpler to do the silver thiosulfate solution. It's much more effective, and you don't have to give it. Sorry, you don't have to give it many applications. With
Gotcha.
colloidal silver, what happens with colloidal silver? And I've seen it before. I've seen many people spray the plants 10, 20, 25 days. They completely ruin the plant, and then it may change. You need a lot of applications of colloidal silver.
It's like do or die. It's like, oh, it won't survive the application if it doesn't work, right?
Well, no, I mean, colloidal, it's quite heavy stuff. It stains, and obviously it blocks the stomata of the leaves, and they tend to die off, and you get this necrosis. If you're lucky, if you do it right, if it's in the right proportions, what's going to happen is that it will take a lot quicker. But I've seen applications of colloidal silver, people doing them for 25 plus days. And apart from being really inconvenient and having to do it every single day, I just think it's a lot more hassle. But the electrolysis thing, yeah, that's easy enough.
I just thought it was pretty.
It was cool. It was cool.
It is cool.
He was a new guy too, So it's like, man, what do you,
He comes to the show. His name's Charlie Brown.
Yeah, Charlie Brown. I call him
Charlie. Yeah, no, that is cool, and I would do it just for the hell of it. But silver dimes here are worth a lot of money, so no, fuck that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh man, it's been a fun day, huh?
But it worked, man. He made it. Yeah, he got Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do it with anything that's silver, basically anything at all.
I was impressed.
All you need is some RO water, some an anode and a diode. Hook up an anode and diode with a battery, and some, what do you call them, alligator clips.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's loads and loads of tutorials out there. Both if anyone's interested in reverse sexing, look up, make your own colloidal silver and make your own silver or STS solution, silver thiosulfate solution. There are lots of recipes, lots of videos out there, especially on electrolysis and making colloidal silver. But out of colloidal silver and STS, I go with STS every time. Gives great results. You don't have to apply it a lot. Easier to make /obtain. People get put off if you have to buy a chemical like silver nitrate or sodium thiosulfate, but really they're widely available. They're not restricted. They're dirt cheap, and you can make a ton of STS solution, more than you'll need in 10 lifetimes, just from 2 pots of those two chemicals. So I highly recommend that.
I agree. It's intimidating names. That's all they are.
Good information, though.
Yeah. It says the guy who deals with, EC meters, pH meters, elements. You can get your head around that, but you can also get your head around mixing two funny sounding substances.
Yeah,
But
not that big a
but
deal.
we're used to going out and buying it, so that's why. I mean, I'm not going to start ranting about hydro stores and home grow stores and how they completely take advantage of beginners' lack of knowledge, but
We
and
can make our own of those
overcharge.
too.
But you can. There's so much stuff that one can actually use that is homemade. I mean, there's all sorts of things. So from silica to excuse me, to you making your own STS solution or colloidal silver for that matter.
Check out Art Man getting it old school.
You doing cold? Oh, he's doing a hash toke.
Wait,
Yeah,
what's
we
it? Is
used
that a
to do
piece of
that, man.
hash on a needle or something?
A chill jar, man.
Hold it
Is that
out
what they
there.
call
Do
that?
hash knives under a jar like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Hash under
Just let it
glass.
protrude, over the edge of the counter there, and then put the knives up in there, and
Boom.
then
Come on,
grab the
funny
jar.
feeling.
No,
Yeah.
I must be tired, man, because I looked at that and I thought, what's that magic mushroom doing in that glass?
It's a helmet head, man.
Oh man. Nice. That's a little better than 2 butter knives,
That's old school, man.
Yeah.
Especially when they're brand new. You want to get them like red, like oxygen torch red. You know what I mean? And then let them cool off. Let them get black. Because you don't want that first, chromium stuff there to gas off into your lungs. Or that's not too good.
Damn, I'm like now
'Cause
that
it will.
I've
Hot
gone on the days
knives.
of hot kniving at breakfast, man. I'm married. There's no way I'll be able to deface knives in our household like that.
I've never even seen anybody do that. That's really strange. It sounds really dangerous, like you're going to burn your face.
It's a hash.
It is potentially really, really dangerous and stupid, and done by stoners doubly so, obviously.
It's happened. I've seen like knife marks across the cheek there. Like you could see the butter knife shape there. It's like, way to go, buddy.
Where I grew up, what was really popular is because milk used to be delivered in bottles, in glass bottles. So if you didn't have papers or anything like that, and you just hot knife it and smash a milk bottle and suck it up through that.
Yeah.
Oh, through the bottom. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, our buddy Seed Person. He wasn't feeling too good. Hope you feel better, Seed Person.
Yeah, the COVID.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
No doubt. Get
Yeah.
better, buddy.
For sure.
Yeah, someone takes a hot knife, it turns from a good time to a branding iron, I always put mine, and we smoke 90% of our hash just either as a snake in the grass inside of a joint or a blunt, or we'll layer it in a bowl. But yeah, it's like napalm, you have to
Oh,
put.
yeah.
You want your
The
hand-eye
hash-
coordination, right? You don't want to do them when you're blasted there.
The hash I made this week just melts, or just bubbles and melts away. I got to smoke it in my dab rig, honestly. So I guess I accidentally made full milk.
That's awesome, though. I
Yeah,
bet the
right,
peppers
man.
are amazing.
I'll take it off your hands if it's too much trouble.
If it's too much trouble. Yeah.
It's all melty and stuff.
That's awesome.
That's a good problem.
Yeah.
It is a good problem to have.
I tried to roll a snake joint, roll a snake, but that didn't work at all. It was a gooey mess.
Yeah, it's
Damn,
tough.
right, that melty. Nice.
That full melt, but fresh frozen, sometimes that does get so messy.
Oh,
It's hard to manage and handle.
I love
But
that.
then you get that stuff that makes that
Temple ball fudge.
yeah, that temple ball. Oh my goodness. It's like
You can
that's
just,
the
I can
best
just smell
stuff.
it now. Mm.
Yeah, you can be proud. It's just my
You can-
favorite.
it's like having a brownie. You just pinch a piece off, roll it out. It's nice and soft, man, and just works perfect for those. But it doesn't always turn out like that. Then sometimes it gets a little harder, and it seems like that's not the good stuff, But I get what you're saying. I actually like hash that's made from cured product. I have no dislike for that at all. I love this shit. I have no problems making it from cured product. I think it's sometimes not quite as sticky, easier to work with, and I like it. I don't know.
Like the Moroccan. There was some Moroccan. It was a lot harder, but it was still kind of oily, just really hard. Like, you had to use a knife or scissors or something to break it off or to break it apart. because you're using your nail, forget it. They're like, you're not chipping that stuff by hand.
Right.
You had to heat it, you know. So I've seen that. And then the drier hard stuff too, there where it's like a brick. Yeah. You have to heat it because there's no way you smash it like well, almost like mud. You know, like it's brittle, it'll break apart there. That's not too good.
We had Lebanese blonde. It was like a pressed keef, really, almost. It wasn't worked like the dark hash, and but it all smoked on a pin.
Super fluffy there if you heat it. Like it sticks to your
Yeah, the
fingers
old
like
school.
crazy there.
Old school was, yeah.
Yeah. I've had that stuff too.
Now, if you light it on the pin
Nice.
part, it just rolls down the pin and gets all over your.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good quality. Starts to
Yep.
bubble
Unless you
up.
heat it, press it.
It's like, oh, nice.
Yep. Well, it's been a fun day. We've got all the way to the 2:00 hour here and actually going over.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I've been having fun. I was just looked up and noticed a little bit ago, so I didn't want to cut anyone off. But I think we can get out our final thoughts and we'll do our goodbyes. And it was a big fun seeing Supervette's garden and his whole new setup, and then to have all of our friends here come on and join us and be able to talk about different things. And
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure. It has been an awesome day. For sure.
lots of chat activity and good conversation there, good questions. And it's nice to see a lot of the same faces over and over all the time. And let me see.
Choke
here.
Norris.
Choke, no, there's some great names there. Choke Norris
I
for
like
sure.
that.
Cheers, bro.
Let's see here. Yeah, so unless anybody has anything else they want to give a shout out, we can go do our goodbyes. And
Yeah.
you guys good with that? All right, let's start over here. We'll go right down the list here. We'll start with Weed Nerd.
Yeah, man. Cheers, and thanks for having me again there. It's I kind of miss hanging out there, you know, but things are the way they are. But I'll definitely be back there, you know. I think it's better you guys have your own show. That's why I left, man. You know, Smart and Crispy, you guys were, you know, that was the main plan when we started all this, was you guys were going to do a show. But you weren't, you know, you guys were all iffy about it because it's a big thing to start on your own and to just go out there. So we decided to do our little hangout, and that worked out really good. You know, we had a lot of fun. But you know, this is your show, man. I always told you guys that from the start. I just maybe I left in a negative way, but I think it's for the best, and you guys are doing great. And I wish you guys the best, and I'll keep coming back, and I support you guys 100%. And yeah, so it's great to see Limo, Scrubs, the Z06, Artman, and everyone else that came on, and everyone in chat, man.
It's great to hear you too, Weed Nerd. But where
Thanks.
did you leave from, may I ask?
Well, I left the show. I left the show a few episodes ago.
But you're here.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just not as a co-host. You know what I mean? Like,
Ah,
'cause
okay.
it used to be
But
our
it's
show,
a
and
smart,
it's
as you said, it's a smart and crispy show.
exactly.
I just want to
So,
say that we wouldn't be where we're at today if it wasn't for Weed Nerd helping us get here. And we got, you know,
Definitely. And Puffy D.
and Puffy D.
For sure. You
For
know,
sure,
you
man.
guys,
That's how
I
it all
felt like you
started.
guys, you know, helped hold my hand because I was nervous. I wasn't like,
But also,
I wasn't on board with the whole idea of just having a show with me and Smart, to be honest with you. I'm thinking, you know, it does take a lot to throw yourself out there. And believe it or not, I'm a little shy. And I've come a long way though.
you
And
have, man. You guys are
Smart
doing
makes
really
it so
good.
much fun. And so did you guys. And the support this community gives us is just amazing.
well, I just
It's
want
the community show.
Yep. And I just want Weed Nerd to know that we do got a lot of love for you, man. I've never not considered you my friend for a single minute. And I think that the feeling's mutual. And so, yeah, we definitely look forward to seeing more of the DWC grows. If we switch over, we're going to definitely be bending your ear and asking for some different pointers. So
I'll be here for you guys, man, for sure.
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. And
Roll up to all you guys, man. We'll see you soon.
all right, Weed Nerd. We'll go next in line here. We got Scrubs and Shrubs.
Yeah, it's nice hearing Weed Nerd again. And hope Seed Person, hope you start feeling better, buddy. And thanks for the correction on with Kyle. Don't want to put false information out. But and Smart and Crispy, thanks for doing this. Like I said, with how do you say your name? Is it Lemonine?
Yeah, it's lemonade.
Lemonine, like learning. I learned something new today. So you all doing this show, it really helps everybody learn from each other. So
Sure thing, Scrubs. And I just, for those who might not know our friend Lemonine, he's been our friend for quite a while now, like 4 years, I think, or something like that, or getting close to it since we've met him. And
Yeah.
he grows lots, like 15,000 plants at a time or something, 8 greenhouses. And so we've often leaned on him for tips about, just things that they do on a large scale that might be able to equate to smaller scale, and how they do a lot of clones and just things like that. So he's a great source of knowledge. We appreciate him coming on and sharing, as well as people, you Scrubs and Shrubs coming on and bringing the good questions, so we can all kind of take something away. And next up we have actually Art Man. You're next, brother.
Well, thanks for having me on today. Excuse me. Artman 2Ns 420 _ at Instagram. Nice seeing Weed Nerd, and thanks for the comments, Lemonine. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, buddy. We appreciate you and your garden tour, and always being a good grommy in the community, and look forward to seeing how all those turn out too, right? Everybody's got different gardens. It gets I always end up asking people the same thing. What strain was that again? Because we see so many of them. Now you see why, Art. So many people come through and show us. It's like, whoa, man, there's a lot to keep track of.
Oh, it's great though. I mean, Supervette and his garden, that was fantastic.
Yeah,
that was great. I love the tours. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
And then Weed Nerd's got like a whole basketball team going, 3 different kinds of each one. I'm just curious to see how that goes with the number statistics that I feel in my head based on what I've been learning about regs and shit. That's all good material just to follow through on. So hell yeah. We appreciate your time today, Art Man. Always nice. I'm sure we'll see you around here later today at the other show. Jack Greenstock's growing with my fellow growers, or over at cocoforcannabis.com, where we tell everybody the New Year's Grow Challenge is going on right now. You can sign up, and there's live chat. There's Grower Love giveaway. There's strain review. There's the Grow Light calculator. It's a plethora of information and good gromies, and you'd be remiss if you didn't at least go check it out for yourself. And that's cocoforcannabis.com. And they are sponsors of our show, and the reason that we all get together here, and how we all came together as a community, and kind of it's growing and growing and growing. And I love to see that. Last but not least, our buddy from far, far across the ocean, Mr. Lemonine. Appreciate your time as well today, buddy. You want to shout yourself out and tell everyone goodbye?
Okay, well, first of all, Smart, Crispy, thanks very much for hosting this program. It's amazing that you guys have been able to do it. It's a big commitment. I'm very rarely available to sit through it, but I have followed it since the beginning, and I just want to give you a big shout out for that and a thank you. It's always good to exchange ideas. Sometimes I regret I can't show as many pictures and stages of what's happening, but that's because security is pretty tight and there's a lot of things that aren't allowed, obviously. But I'm happy to share my knowledge, my experience with you guys, even though it's a different style of growing. And I have to say, from what I see that you guys have done and the innovative ways that you're growing, it's really, really impressive. And I am a bit jealous because I would love to do that myself. But it's great being here. Have a great 2023, everybody, and see you soon.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. This has been an amazing show. I was excited when I got to talk to Z06 Supervette and his wife, and they agreed to come on today. And then to have all y'all coming on the show, Lemonine, Art Man, Weed Nerd, Scrubs and Shrubs, LED Grower. I'm missing
I don't wanna miss nobody.
someone. I don't want to miss anybody, but you guys all make this show so amazing and wonderful. It's always a good time. I'm Crispy Wannabe. I hope you all come back on Wednesday. Come back on, show us your garden. You can show us week to week. We'll be here Sunday too. I invite everybody to come back and
Be sure to
grow with
subscribe.
us, and yeah, subscribe to the Smart Poker YouTube channel, hit the like, and hit that little bell. You can be setting reminders. We really greatly appreciate all of you, the love and the support from this community has been just so amazing. It just never ceases to amaze me. The good vibes, they're always coming through. Y'all make that happen, and I greatly appreciate and love yins guys so much. I'm Crispy Wannabe. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me at Instagram and Coco for Cannabis. And a big thanks to you, Smart Poker. You make this all happen. This is so much fun hanging out with you and our friends.
It sure
I
is.
love you.
Grower love, everybody, and we'll see you Wednesday.